What's going on, guys? This is Francisco with Covenant Dispatch LLC, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time visiting this channel, please do me a favor. Under this video, smash that like button. Also hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and hit that notification bell if you want to stay alerted for any future videos that we do post. So if you've gone through some of our previous videos, you see that we talk about independent freight dispatching, but we're not limited to just independent freight dispatching. We also talk about other things in trucking. Now, as you can see in the title of this video, I wanted to just really quickly as possible break down the dynamics of starting a box truck business. So over the past, I want to say maybe 3 to 4 years, it's become a popular topic to discuss box trucking because it's a way to get in the trucking industry without having a CDL or having to go through some of the things that you have to go through when starting a trucking business. I'm having semi trucks, big rigs, and things like that. So it's become a popular topic. I actually started a trucking fleet, non-CDL. I had up to 3 trucks, and so I'm definitely speaking from experience when I share some of this information. But let me just actually jump right into it because there is a lot that I want to get into. Now, I did upload a video, I think about 2 weeks ago, that I'm going to actually take down because I want to merge that video with this one. So in this video, we're going to break down step by step how to start a box truck business with no CDL, and then we're going to crunch down the potential profits, how much you can make depending on the structure of your business. So let's get right into it. Number one, if you're going to start a box trucking business, you need to have your business set up. That goes without saying, right? You have to register your business, whether you're a sole proprietor, an LLC. You have to register it within your state that you live in. Every state varies on the prices. I know here in Pennsylvania, it's $125 to register an LLC, and I definitely encourage you guys to register an LLC to keep your business assets separated from your personal assets. Another thing you might want to do is subscribe to a bookkeeping software like QuickBooks is what I use, for example, but there are other ones, but you want to do that to keep everything organized. And then the other thing you want to do is open up a business bank account. Now that you have your business set up, the next thing you want to do is get an MC and USDOT number. That's going to be done on the FMCSA website. I'll post the links to all those things in the description under this video so that you guys have access to them. In brief, your MC number is what is going to allow your company to haul freight interstate, which is from state to state. So you can haul anything within the 48 states here, obviously excluding Alaska and Hawaii. You can haul freight anywhere within New York to California, Michigan to Texas. You get the whole concept, right? And that costs $300. The next thing you want to do is get your BOC3, which is a specified permit that you need for a trucking company. Keep in mind, y'all, this is for a box truck business, non-CDL. So there are some other things that you need to get if you're starting a trucking company with bigger rigs, right? But we're not going to talk about that in this video. The next thing you need to do is get your UCR permit. I'll place the link for that also under this video. That's going to cost you somewhere around $60. The next thing you want to do is get your auto liability insurance. As a matter of fact, you can't have an active MC number unless you have a commercial, let me correct myself, a commercial auto liability insurance policy. Progressive does a really great job at, getting people signed up who are new carriers, new trucking companies. A lot of people go through Progressive. Obviously, of course, you can switch it out after, however long, if you find a better company that has better premium prices, but they're going to charge you anywhere. There's a lot of different variables, whether you have a CDL driver, whether you yourself are a CDL driver, even though you're starting a non-CDL company. Those are the different factors and variables that'll determine what your premium will be opening up a commercial auto liability policy. Now, one thing I will say is the down payment will range anywhere from, I've seen it go from $2,200 to about $3,700. There's another link that I will put in the description under this video. TBS Factoring, I've gone through them. They're an awesome company. They pay 50% of your deposit, and then you just pay them back per week. I think they give you like a 30-day grace period. I don't know the stipulations on it anymore, but you can give them a call, and I'll place their information in the description under this video. So I put $3,500 for the amount that you might pay on your down payment towards your premium for your commercial auto liability, which you must have to start a trucking company. The next thing is a truck rental. Now, I say truck rental. Now, as I go into the potential profits, I'll break down the difference between if you rented or if you bought your commercial truck, your box truck. If you did buy your box truck, you're gonna range anywhere from it really depends, especially now. You're gonna range anywhere from about 20 to upwards to 50,000, right? Depending on mileage and a bunch of other things. But in here I put $2,500 because that's the down payment that most box trucks companies cost if you want to rent their or lease their box truck. So I'm gonna put $2,500. The next thing is an ELD. You need an ELD because you're crossing through state lines. I don't have enough time to flesh the information out for that, but I will do it on another video. That's going to cost about $150. You need your DOT med card. You need that so that they can verify that you're healthy enough, you or your driver, to drive the box truck. The next thing you're going to need, because you have a box truck, is a pallet jack, which is going to cost you somewhere around $260. I'm sorry, the DOT med card is going to be about $85. You're going to also need straps. They're going to cost you somewhere around $70. You're going to need load bars. They're going to cost you somewhere around $120. Guys, I'm just reading off my notes here. And then you're going to need truck magnets that you can put on the side of your truck. That's going to list your MC and your USDOT number. I'm just throwing this out there. The lettering has to be at least 2 inches in height. Has to be at least 2 inches in height per the Department of Transportation. That's going to put you somewhere at about $7,330. Now let's get into the potential profits. Now that you got your box truck business officially established, you want to decide, are you going to drive or are you going to have a driver drive? Now let me just throw the potential profits out there for you guys so you can decipher whether or not it's going to make sense for you. Now keep in mind, y'all, I'm going to be completely transparent here, completely transparent. I'm going to show you guys what these numbers look like. I know a lot of other YouTubers are going to sit there and tell you other things. I'm just being real with you guys. I did this and things have drastically changed, especially in the height of all this chaos with fuel prices and stuff. All right, so let me give you the scenario first. This is the scenario. Let's say that you're getting a rate per mile of $2. That's average for a box truck. Because there have been a saturation of non-CDL box truckers out there taking poor rates, you will see sometimes that brokers are giving you less than $2 per mile. But let me just throw out a scenario. $2 a mile is your rate per mile, and then your mileage is 2,200 miles for that week. Now in a situation like that, you just take your mileage, which is 2,200, and you multiply that times 2, which will give you a grand total or a gross total of 4,400. So that means your one box truck grossed $4,400 for that week. Now let's look at your overhead costs and then your cost per mile and things like that, and then see how that will determine your potential profits. Your overhead costs are going to be fuel, insurance, tolls, hotel, miscellaneous things like your ELD, bookkeeping, subscriptions, how much it costs to rent that truck, and if you're paying a driver. Now let's break down the numbers. Your fuel is going to be somewhere around $1,232. The way I did that is I took the current diesel prices, at least here in Pennsylvania, which is about $3.95, divided that by the miles per gallon of a typical box truck, which is going to be somewhere around 7 miles per gallon that you're getting. That's going to give you 0.56, right? So I would take 0.56, multiply that times the total amount of mileage, which in our scenario is 2,200. That's going to leave you with 1,232. So that's how much the fuel would cost, more or less. The insurance is going to cost somewhere about $470. Now mind you, you pay that every month, but you want to take that out every week just to make sure you have it for the end of the month. It's going to put you somewhere around $470. Now of course that can change depending on a bunch of different variables, but I'm just giving you guys an average number. The next is tolls. You're going to average about, let's say, 170 in tolls. That's going to of course also determine on your region and things like that, but let me just give you an average number for an example. Hotel. Now let me throw out a side note for this. There are a lot of box truck drivers that are out there, non-CDL box truckers with no sleeper in their truck, but going to truck stops and still sleeping in their trucks. Just so you guys know, that is illegal. If a DOT officer or a state trooper catches you, you're going to get a fine. So if the risk is worth the reward for you guys, then go ahead and do it, but it's illegal. So that's why I put hotel in here, because you will definitely be spending on hotels. Now of course you want to go for your typical truck stop hotels that aren't going to cost an arm and a leg. You don't want to sit there and get a Ritz-Carlton night for like $300. You're a truck driver, right? So you want to reduce your overhead costs and go to those trucker hotels. So $300. I put ELD and miscellaneous things, and ELD is an electronic logging device. I went over that when I gave you guys how to start the trucking company. I'm just adding these in there as your overhead cost. So that's going to cost you about $65 per week, which would go to your monthly subscription towards those things. Your rent to rent the truck. Now guys, I'm giving you guys my personal numbers. I was being charged 19 cents per mile and $2,100 every month. So $2,100 every month divided by 4 will put you like around 500 and some change. I don't know off the top of my head, but 19 cents per mile multiplied by 2,200 miles, going based upon the scenario that we have here, that'll put you about $940 $43 per week. Now you got your driver. If you have a driver in the car because you just don't want to drive, right? I'm just giving you guys a scenario as to if you just put a driver in there and all you have to do is oversee everything, but you still want to make a profit in starting a box truck business. If you put a driver in there, I usually would suggest that you go no less than 21% of the gross amount. Now, if you pay them as an employee, then you would go by mileage or however you want to do it, but I'm just giving you a general way. If you want to pay them as an independent contractor, just give them 21% of the grand total or the gross total. In this case, it's $4,400, and you're gonna multiply that, of course, times 0.21, which will give you the total of $924. Now you add all of these overhead costs up, you got $4,104. That's 2,200 miles that your truck drove and $2 per mile. Now, if we took the grand total, which is $4,400, let's do that here on the calculator, $4,400, and you subtracted that by the overhead cost, which is $4,104, that's going to give you $296. That's how much you would get back on your potential profits at $2 a mile with renting a truck and having a driver. Now, of course, if you drive your truck and you get rid of the driver and you buy your own truck, then you would take out, so let's take the $4,104. That's how much your overhead cost would be, and you want to subtract $943 and then subtract again $924. The reason why you're doing that, and I'm showing you guys that, is because you're taking out your price that it would cost to rent the truck because you bought a truck, quote unquote. I'm just giving you guys a scenario, and then you're taking out the cost that you would have to pay a driver, which is $924. But now that you own your truck and you're driving, you assume the responsibility for all maintenance costs. So it's smart of you to put a certain amount away per week. So let's say about $300. So now we're gonna take the $2,237 after subtracting the rental price for the truck and also subtracting what you would pay a driver because now you're driving, and add $300. And then the other thing is you have to, let's say you bought the truck but you're financing it. So let's say you're paying on average $1,100. Let's say you're paying $1,100 a month. So now you want to add that $1,100 as well as the $1,300. Now your overhead costs, if you were driving and you did not have a driver, and if you bought your truck instead of rented, your overhead costs would then be $3,637. Now let's take that total amount from the beginning, the gross amount, which is $4,400, right? So we're going to take 3,637. That's the overhead cost now. So we're going to take 4,400 minus 3,637. That's going to give you $763 if you drove your truck, you didn't have a driver, and you bought your truck and you were paying a payment every month for financing it. That's not too bad, right? When you crunch the numbers down, I guess it's not bad if you're financing a truck, but then you have to drive the truck. So I say all that to say this, right? I just gave you the potential profits. I gave you guys all the numbers. I know I was a little kind of all over the place showing you guys my phone, but I just wanted to be transparent and give you guys real-time numbers, real information, so you guys know the potential profits and everything that comes along with it. Now, of course, there's a bunch of other things I didn't go over and a bunch of different variables I didn't break down. I may break them down in a future video, but I did just want to share with you guys the reality of what it would cost and what you would potentially see from starting a box truck business. Now, keep in mind, the common denominator or factor on your potential profits is your rate per mile. Now, in this scenario, I said $2, but if you were to average $2.20 or $2.30, that's going to drastically change your gross. No matter what your overhead costs are, you're obviously going to receive more of a potential profit if you gross more. Let me just quickly give you guys an example. If the truck drove 2,200 miles, but instead of $2 per mile, we saw $2.30 per mile, that's $5,060. So instead of the $4,400, that's $5,060. Now let's quickly go through the math of everything, right? So the only thing that would change is the driver. So if it's 21% of the gross, we're going to do the new amount that we just got times 0.21. That's 1,062. So 1,062, which would change your overhead cost to, let's do the math, 1,232,470. Hold up. All right, that's going to change your new overhead cost to $3,010. But remember, because you had a rate per mile of $2.30, you take that new amount, which is 5,060, and you subtract 3,010. Now you have a new potential profit of $2,050. That's with having a driver, and that's with renting a truck still. So you see how the numbers change drastically when the rate per mile changes. Now I want to add this last note, and then you guys can put your comments under here. Let me know what you would like for me to elaborate more on when it comes to box trucking. Your rate per mile is what's going to make a huge difference, and the reason why the rates are a little jacked up now is because the saturation of people jumping into this game and not knowing what they're doing, not factoring in all the variables and just taking cheap rates. It's jacking up everything for people out there. So if you were able to average about 220, 230 on your rate per mile, you're going to see potential profits with a driver and with renting a box truck if you have good quotes and good rates on your rental for your box truck. But once again, guys, I didn't get the chance to flesh out everything on here, but I just wanted to give you a general overview so you guys can see. Let me know what you guys think in the video. Send this to someone who it might help, and let me know again what you guys think. Hit that subscribe button if you've never done it. Please hit that like button and hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video.